there, this is Daniel for Hero Arts. Happy to be here with a Copic coloring palette that will just knock your socks off. I think this deconstructive Kalamata olive palette is just perfect. I've never seen olive leaves in real life, only pictures of them, but I have eaten my share of Kalamata olives and they are delicious. And I like the colors. I like the colors in them because they're not those green pimento filled olives that I could actually live without. I don't mind them, but I don't adore them. But the Kalamata olives, they're not only tasty, they're beautiful. This great kind of violet, gold, and green hue to them that, I don't know, I just think they're pretty. So I figured I could take a olive branch out of the olive branch stamp set, stamp it a few times, and then color it in with a palette that I derived from a deconstructed Kalamata olive. So I start by taking the longer branch, stamping it twice, once on one corner and another time on the other corner. And then there's a smaller little sprig of olives in there, and I'm going to stamp it as well on the opposite corners using some intense black ink from Hero Arts. This fantastic ink works great with Copic markers, hence I'm using it for today's coloring project. I like to get them nice and black, but you don't have to get them too dark for the first go around. Color in your items and then go back and restamp it like I'll do later. I'm going to start by coloring in my olives in a very traditional olive palette, just YG 95, 97, and 99. And I'm going to be sure to leave a little bit of shine on them. I'm not drawing in this shine, I'm actually just not coloring that part in. So as I color them in, I'm just careful to leave this little streak of white where I think the light would be hitting them. Now, all of the light is coming in from the same direction on all of the olives, but the olives are actually facing in little different directions each time. Then at the end, when I put my colored panel on the front of my card base, I'm just going to flip it all the way over so the light will be hitting underneath the olives instead of above the olives. Don't tell anyone, but that was inadvertent. So when you draw in your color in your olives here, just make sure you leave a little curve to go around just a little bit to show the shape of the olive there, and then leave some white. Just draw kind of like a half moon. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure you don't, when you do your blending, that you don't go over that spot. So just be careful. If your marker's extra juicy, you'll just have to manage with it. I like my markers juicy, but not over juicy, you know what I mean? So here you see I'm leaving a little white glare mark or shine mark on the very top where the rounded edge of the olive goes into the stem. So not like a long glare mark there, just a short one. And then on this next one, since the olive is kind of positioned semi-horizontally, I'm going to do it longer. And then I'm repeating that short one on this one here. See that? Isn't that fun? Doesn't it look like they're shining, like there's some light hitting them? And they're not dull olives. They're kind of shiny olives. About to finish my olives up, and then I will kind of skip through some of my coloring here. I wanted to show you my coloring in real time, though I'm not going to show the whole coloring. I'm going to edit some of it out. But I wanted you to get a feel of how I did the light source on this. So you get light coming in from the very top of these olives, which will end up being the bottoms. See what I mean? So here I'm going to come in with my YG99. I'm going to use this sparingly just for the very edges of each of the olives, kind of the undersides of them, maybe where they meet the stem. Just add them in a little bit here and there. And then, well, I was thinking I was going to just do a no blend project, but once I got going on this, the YG97 And the YG99 didn't have a huge amount of variation, so I decided just to go ahead and blend them in completely. You see there, I skipped ahead. Now I'm on to my YG97, and I'm just going to go right on the outside of my YG99 and just blend it just a little bit. Not rubbing it, just adding the color to the outside of it. And you can see there's just not a lot of difference between 99 and 97 here. But once I get my 95 out again, I can blend those in together and they blend beautifully. So it makes a beautifully rounded little berry. And I'm going to be very careful not to hit my glare marks here. But on some of them, I wanted to shorten them up or make them a little smaller here and there, or thinner, or more rounded. So here is my chance with the YG95, just to kind of perfect the little glare marks on some of these. You can't make them any bigger though, unless you want to use a white gel pen, which doesn't have the same effect. It's okay, but it's better to just leave some white space than try to recreate some white space. So here we have all the berries blended, colored in and blended. And I'm going to surprise you now. This is an RV95. It's a violet, a red violet. And this is the perfect complement to the YG colors. So RV and YG, you know. But who would have thought to use an RV here, an RV95? So this is a very desaturated color, very earthy looking color for me. I like it a whole lot. You'll see me use a lot of earthy colors here. But then I'm going to surprise you again. What is this? A Y26? What is he doing? This is a goldish kind of color. The actual name of this marker is... let me see it. It's mustard, actually. Can you believe that? But I'm adding it to this RV95, and boy, does it look beautiful. It looks like, you know, a kind of dried leaf color. Like there's some kind of drying going on here. It is the Mediterranean, so, you know, it could be a dry area here. But I just love how the Kalamata olives have this kind of golden glow to them in certain parts. So I'm trying to pull that out here. They have this red violet or violet area and then a bit of golden yellow to them. And then I'm going to break out my RV99, which is the darkest red violet. And I'm going to do all the stems in this color. I think it's perfect. And then I'm going to flick onto the leaves here, the olive leaves. But then after coloring in all the stems and adding a bit of this detail to my leaves, I'm going to mark some of this ink out onto my glass mat and then pick it up again with an RV95 to kind of get a number in between the two, because I don't have an RV 96, 97, or 98. I don't even know if those numbers exist. I don't think they do, because I think I have a complete set of Copics. But here I wanted a number in between the two because I'm going to add this kind of really dark, strong detail throughout my painting, and I want to blend it in with the other RV that I have here down. So let's pick it up. You can just pick it up with your marker, put it down on the glass mat and pick it up with a marker. And now we're making this kind of golden brown mixed with violet and yellow. I just love the result. It looks just like my inspiration, in my mind anyway. So as I go around, I'm just blending them in and leaving some little streaks of gold here and there. The whole color palette is divine. I mean, it just looks like an olive the way it was created, made with those beautiful hues of gold and violet in them. And I'm just making the palette shine on the leaves here. So instead of Kalamata olives, we've got Kalamata leaves. And I just blend and blend until I'm happy, until I'm pleased. Put some more of that RV99 out on that palette and pick it up again. This is great advice for those who don't have a full set of Copic markers either. So if you're missing something, kind of create your own by mixing the colors out on some glass or an acrylic block. You can mix the colors, and I mean, if you're adventurous, you know, be adventurous, try them out, play with them. I had never mixed this one before. I just kind of thought it might work, and it did beautifully. So once I finish my coloring, pick out a sentiment from the stamp set. This one's my favorite. I love the font on this one. Very nice, clean, but also kind of handwritten. I like it. I love it. I live it. I live you a lot. Prepped my paper with some anti-static powder tool, melted some white detail embossing powder over it, and then I'm going to die cut it with an infinity circle die using my new Hero cutter. This little guy is a workhorse, a work pony. So once I've got that die cut, I'm going to put my panel onto the front of my A2 card size, my card base, and then pop up my sentiment right down in the lower right third of my card. A third over from the right, a third up from the bottom. And I'm just going to add a little bit of RV99 here and there. Some dots just to add some interest and texture to my project. And that's it. We're done. Finito. Terminado. We are done. Love it. I live it. I hope you enjoyed my little Kalamata inspired Copic coloring today. All of the items I used are in the description box below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button.